God has established standards on how he deals with Babylon in the images of Babylon. In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 to 2, it reads, "The word of the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nation, and publish, and set up a standard, publish and conceal it not." That means it always will be. He told Jeremiah to publish it and conceal it not. That means the standard that he established for Babylon and the image of Babylon is still in place today. Babylon is taken. Bel is confounded. Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images are broken in pieces. Again, the standards will not conceal. Therefore, it is enforced today. Babylon is known as a hammer. Babylon used its military might to shape things the way it wanted it to be. And Babylon also put its trust in oppression and perverseness. In the book of Isaiah chapter 28 explain how God controlled the storms as a man would do by hand. Isaiah chapter 28 verses 1 and 2 said, "Woe to the crown of pride, to the drunkard of Ephraim, whose glorious beauty is a fading flower, which are on the head of the fat valley of them that are overcome with wine. Behold, the Lord has a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hell and a destroying storm, and a flood of mighty water overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand." As you study, you find God uses storms against Babylon and the images of Babylon. You'll find that you have more than one nation that conduct its affairs as a Babylon, meaning using their military might as a hammer and also wishing to shed innocent blood, trusting in oppression and perverseness. In Jeremiah chapter 51, Jeremiah writes in verse 1 and 2, "Thus said the Lord, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me, a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fenders, and they shall fend her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about." What this means is when nation conduct its affairs like Babylon, using their military might to shape things, engaging in war without provocation, putting their trust in oppression and perverseness, God used the forces of nature against those nations. God sends forth hurricane, tornado, and flood. And God brings this type of destruction to those nations who have engaged in wickedness. Now we have to really know there's a lot of repenting that must take place before we use the banner that we have been a leader for peace. Because as it stands now, people don't fear God. They don't understand the way of the Lord. They have not studied the way of the Lord. And we continue to repeat the same thing over and over and over again. In the United States, we have worse to shed innocent blood and so many different conflicts. God has a whole list of those conflicts. I would like to just go over just a few of those so that we can begin to understand the record that we have to deal with and understand what's going on and our worst to shed innocent blood. In 1963 to 1975, American military killed 4 million people in Southeast Asia. In 1977, U.S. backed military leaders in El Salvador. 70,000 Salvadorans and 4 American nuns were killed. In 1980, U.S. trained Osama bin Laden and fellow terrorists to kill soldiers, and CIA gave them $3 billion. In 1982, U.S. provided billion to Saddam Hussein for weapons to kill the Iranians. In 1983, the White House secretly funded and gave Iran missiles to kill the Iraqis. In 1989, CIA agent Manuel Noriega, also serving as president of the Panama, disobeyed an order from Washington, and the U.S. invaded and removed Noriega, and 3,000 civilians were killed. In 1990, Iraq invaded Kuwait with the weapon that was provided by the United States. In 1991, the U.S. entered Iraq. President Bush reinstated the dictator of Kuwait. In 1998, U.S. bombed a weapon factory in Sudan. The factory turned out to be making aspirin. In 2000 to 2001, the United States aided the Taliban and gave them $245 million in aid. And on September 11th, Osama bin Laden used the expert CIA training to murder people in the United States. 2001, the United States invaded Afghanistan. In 2003, the United States invaded Iraq without provocation. And there's been other activity. We need to understand there's a record that's being kept, and God knows about all of these things. And we have to understand you can't do anything in the dark. We have work to do. Once we have this understanding, then we can understand what's going on in the United States after we have engaged in activity using our military might without provocation. It's God who brought those storms unto us. It's God who brought those floods unto us. That is the way of the Lord. It's imperative that we understand the way of the Lord.